Welcome back, everyone, to the Nerds Only podcast. You're here with your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And your goofiest host, Josiah Branch.
Yes, you'll like that one. Not trying to steal the nerdiest thing from me.
You'll be the nerdiest. I'll be like the cool guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
kids.
You be the
drugs.
cool one. I'll be the lame one.
All right, start promoting drugs, Elijah.
No, you're the cool one. You're supposed to promote drugs.
Wait, I thought the cool people didn't do drugs.
Oh, real.
Nah.
Real.
There's so many layers.
There's so many layers. Well, today, our main topic, I think, is going to be the Duskmourn House of Horror Magic the Gathering set. Spoiler season just started. I think this is the, I don't think it's the official spoiler season yet. More the, week or two beforehand where everything gets leaked before the official spoiler season.
Classic.
It's a canon event. It happens every single set.
They gotta expect it by now.
But I am really excited from this set. I think let's start by talking just art and aesthetic-wise, because last set was Bloomburrow. Have you played any Bloomburrow or looked at any of the cards or anything?
I haven't. I've been away from the Magic scene for quite some time now.
That's okay. Last Bloomburrow was a very cutesy set. Very powerful, but the art was just very cute. All of the characters and creatures were animals. Planeswalkers that went to this realm were given personas, essentially.
Oh, brother.
But in a cute way, not no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. I heard persona and it clicked and I'm just joking.
Yeah. It's going to be a real popular set with furries. That being said, Duskmourn is, I think, as far from Bloomburrow artistically as it can be.
Yeah, I got to open up right here. There's some pretty horrific stuff in this. It's not very cutesy or furry.
Right.
Furries will not like this set. I think I'm confident in that.
Furries, well, I'm looking at a Haunted Shrieker Beast Mutant. The right furry might like that one.
Oh no! They got something for everyone in these Magic games.
Real. But no, I really like the art direction for this set. I mean, I think all the sets this year have been super unique. I mean, Murder at Karlov Manor was just Ravnica. We've been there a million times. But then, I mean, we had Outlaws at Thunder Junction, our first Western fantasy-themed set. We had Bloomburrow, like I said, very cutesy animals. And this is a horror set, and I just really like that artistically it's been so unique this year.
Yes, that is always. It's the abilities and the actual cards themselves is cool, but it is really enjoyable to see the art. And that is cool that they're taking such special attention to it and trying to really get some variety, and not just let's just throw some art on there.
Real. Do you have a favorite? We'll get into card mechanics and stuff, but just in terms of art, do you have a favorite one or one that's really sticks out to you?
So I haven't seen many yet, but one that did stick out a little bit is Sacrifice.
Okay.
I love, I don't know why, this one is, it's like this man looking down a long staircase into this open jaw. I don't know. There's a lot of horror elements here. I like the angle of the picture. It's very purpley. It's a really good, horrific, I would hate to be in that situation.
Yeah.
It's genuinely disconcerting.
For sure. I think for me, in terms of art, my favorite is got to be Toby, Beastie Befriender. You can't tell me, it's towards the bottom of the list if you're looking for it.
Okay.
And just for our audience sake, if you want to look through as we're talking through this, we're just using magicspoiler.com. Very simple, very easy to use. You cannot tell me that this card was not inspired by Monsters, Inc., Sully and the Little Girl. I can't remember what her name is, but that's the vibe this card gives me.
I do not remember her name, but if I find it, you said his name was Toby?
Yeah, Toby Beastie Befriender.
Oh, is Toby the little girl? Not, sorry.
On the card.
On the card, not in
not in Monsters Inc. But it's literally just a little kid with a giant purple monster behind it. And I know Sully's blue, but I don't know. It just gives me Monsters Inc. vibes.
That's kind of cute.
And then I think last thing I want to point out, just art-wise, is the special arts. Right now, the ones we have are Archon of Cruelty, Goroy's Vengeance, and Living Death. All of these are very clearly inspired by like old horror movie posters.
Oh yeah, I saw some of those.
Yeah, usually I'm not the biggest fan of special arts like this, which like really takes some creative liberty on the placing of the words and like the mana value and the name of the card versus what it does. I don't know. I prefer when it tries to at least kind of stick to the normal Magic format, but I'm really vibing with these.
I love this. It's got exile it at the beginning of the next, or exile at the beginning of in white text, and then like in the blood red letters all spookily, the next end step. And it's kind of and at the bottom okay, listener, you got to look up Goryo's Vengeance. This card is I love this. It's a movie trailer poster.
Yeah,
it works so well.
Yeah, and we're just right at the beginning of spoiler season, so I'm sure we're gonna get some more special arts like these. For example, like we have of it not fitting into the normal like Magic format. Goryo's Vengeance, the name of the card is on the bottom, while what it does is like split top left hand corner and then right hand side just above the name. So not where you would typically expect everything to be laid out, but man, they just did a great job with these.
And it seems there's a new splice onto Arcane for a different mana cost. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but that sounds like it might be something new.
That actually, yeah, I don't remember that mechanic, which, I mean, I think at this point, last time I checked, there were 27,000 plus Magic cards, and that was like a year and a half ago. So, I mean, honestly, we're probably closing in on 30,000. So
Sheesh.
We could definitely be not remembering a mechanic here, but I don't remember that one either.
This is from the 35th set.
Real.
How dare you?
How dare you not know?
That's cool, though.
Are you ready to move on from art, start talking about some of the cards that really stick out?
Yeah.
I think this is the one, Val Gavoth, Terror Eater. It's flying lifelink, and then it has ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead, which is crazy.
That's actually insane.
But then its second ability is during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Val Gavoth, and then if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than paying its mana cost.
So you could do a life gain oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What colors is it?
It's black, and to be fair, it is a 9-cost 9/9 Elder Demon, so it's really expensive to get out there, but the value you could get on this thing, especially with lifelink and flying, is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah, I feel like with every set, every color thrives, but I'm getting the vibes that black is going to really thrive in this set.
I would hope so, it being horror.
Is there any that have stuck out to you?
Not yet. There was some at the top earlier, but I lost them.
Gotcha. Well, I've got 2 more right here while you're looking.
Yeah.
The next is Doomsday Excoriator. I'm definitely mispronouncing that. But it's a 6-cost all black 6/6 with flying that says when it enters, if it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards from their library face down.
Wow.
And then at the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. So this is a phenomenal card in the sense that you're going to essentially mill out almost every player on the table. However, you have to have a win con in mind because you're going to be drawing an extra card each turn. So if you cannot win in essentially 3 turns after you play this card, you lose the game.
The person who played the card loses the game?
Yeah, because it's each player exiles their library except for the bottom 6, not each opponent.
Wow.
So you're also gonna bring yourself down to 6, and then you're drawing 2 a turn. So you have 3 turns to win the game.
So if you got like a 3-hour game going and you wanna end it, you just play that card and you're good.
Yeah, I love this card because it's gonna stop those games.
This has been going on for too long. I play this card. That's all. I love mill cards. I think there's one that Jerry has.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, maybe it was you. It's like mill 20.
Yeah,
of your
Tasha's
deck.
hideous laughter.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Those are always just fun watching your opponent like, what? And then their deck is just gone.
Kylee, one of her brothers, I won't say his name on the podcast, he has a mill deck, and one of the cards in it is your opponent mills half their library rounded down. And so if he can just keep popping that off every turn, it's insane.
Oh, it's like that calculus thing where it's if you keep dividing things in half, you'll never actually reach it. Anyways, completely unrelated. But that is very cool.
Yeah. And then the next one I got here, it's a commander, or it's a legendary creature. It doesn't have to be a commander, but I think can work as a really good commander in the sense that you can use it to protect your deck. So it's the Wandering Rescuer, which is just the Wandering Emperor, another card for her. She is a really cool character in Magic, so I'm excited to see them bringing her back. But she has Flash, so you can play it at instant speed, and Convoke, which means your creatures can help cast the spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays 1 for its mana cost. Double strike, but then what's really important about this card is it says other tapped creatures you control have hexproof.
Oh, wow.
So, hypothetically, somebody plays removal on one of your creatures, you tap it to pay for Wandering Rescuer, bring her out. Now, because you tapped it, it has hexproof, so their spell can't affect your creature anymore. It's not a card that necessarily I think would be great for Commander in terms of like winning the game, but I do like the idea of having a commander that can protect your other cards.
That is really cool. He's kind of a support commander instead of a big hitter.
Yeah, for sure.
As I was looking through here, just what's kind of immediately jumped out, because I love these type of cards as well. It's called Expropriate.
Okay.
Expropriate. To converted mana cost of 7 and 3 blue.
Okay.
And it's sorcery, and it reads Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn after this one. For each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. Exile blah 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 blah. I just also love the voting mechanic, but that is also a pretty crazy card.
Yeah,
because either way, you're getting extra turns or you're getting more creatures.
Yeah, that is insane.
It is a very high cost, I will say.
I'm sorry. I know you mentioned it before, but what was it?
So 7 plus 3.
Oh my God.
So that is kind of like
Yeah.
If someone counterspells that, you
that
should just
would
drop
be
the game.
Devastating. Yeah. Oh my God.
You should honestly get rid of your deck, sell all your Magic cards, and go home.
Right.
It's over.
Right. I think another one I wanted to point out was Acrobatic Cheerleader. Now, this is just a common, but it has the survival ability. At the beginning of your second main phase, if Acrobatic Cheerleader is tapped, put a flying counter on it. This ability triggers only once. So the reason I bring this up is this, I believe, is the first time we've ever seen at the beginning of your second main phase, phrasing.
I got you.
So I'm not really sure. I'm excited to see more mechanics like this. If it's going to be really good, if it'll be kind of mid or bad, we'll just have to see.
Okay.
Again, this is a common card, so its ability isn't that great. But I mean, depending on like once we get into rares and mythics with this ability, we could start seeing some more powerful stuff.
Second main phase is after combat phase, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It seems like there's a lot of potential there that if they're doing it on this common card, I'm sure they're going to do it on more. It'd kind of be sad if they didn't.
Yeah.
But man, I'm actually pretty excited to see what they do with that. I feel like there's some pretty cool stuff that can happen there.
I do too. I do too. We have another set of lands which have an ability that I don't recognize. Again, they could be in the game before, but these are dual lands. They are tapped lands, but they enter tapped unless a player has 13 or less life. So I feel like you could get a lot of value out of these cards in like standard or draft play.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't be great in Commander.
Yeah, sorry, say that one more time.
They enter tapped unless a player has 13 or less life.
Oh, I gotcha. Yes, no, for Commander, that is no bueno.
Which this mechanic seems kind of familiar, so we might have seen this set of tap lands before. I just can't remember for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else really sticking out to you?
Not much. All these seem pretty interesting, but nothing like crazy. I also haven't really looked super deep into these cards.
No, that's okay.
I've kind of only kept towards the top, but
I just don't want to,
Yeah.
I want you to have a chance to speak too.
Thank you, my hairiest host. We stay supportive on this podcast.
Real. Did you see Kaito?
Kaito.
I believe you have this in one of a card of Kaito in one of your decks, or we're working on a deck with him in it. He's a planeswalker now. I don't believe he always was, but he's a planeswalker with ninjutsu.
Ooh, that's fun.
It's +1. You get an emblem with ninjas you control, get +1/+1. Surveil 2, then draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. That's 0. And then a -2. Tap target creature, put 2 stun counters on it. That's pretty gross.
That stun counters are whenever it's your turn skip, or like that creature can't take an action.
Yeah.
Or like attack or block.
Yeah, every turn you'll remove a stun counter until
Wow.
it has none.
That is pretty broken.
And then I'm just going to, I know we want to move on to some other topics, so I'm just going to kind of speed read some of these.
Okay.
Okay, so we also have our 4 commanders listed. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I think they look pretty good. I feel pretty confident. I'm Velgavoth, Howler of Souls. Again, I probably pronounced that wrong. This is the same character I talked about earlier, but they are also getting a commander version that's black and red, which says, whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter on Velgavoth and draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a card that could have a ton of value or have very little value dependent on your opponent's deck.
Okay, so it's maybe kind of a counter commander then? Or like you're playing that deck, then I'm going to play this deck.
Yeah.
Instead of like I'm just going to play this guy.
I could see it if you could. It'll have to depend on the deck, but then, I mean, you could just upgrade it too. But if you could keep a ton of instants in the deck where you could just be dealing damage to opponents on their turn, that could guarantee you value from the card. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Right.
And then lastly, we've got schemes are coming back.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure we've had schemes before, but I think it's been a while since we've seen them. And schemes typically have when this happens, you get something, and then it could either be the same thing, or when something else happens, discard the scheme. So they're kind of like temporary enchantments.
Okay.
There were some really good ones. There's one I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to look real quick to see if I can find it. If not, we'll move forward.
Okay. And I did have a card I wanted to maybe talk about just a little bit.
Yeah, tell us.
So, did we already talk about Victor yet?
No, I don't think so.
So, Victor Velgavoth's Seneschal. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Legendary creature, human warlock, Eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, surveil 2 if this is the first time this ability has resolved this turn. If it's the second time, each opponent discards a card. If it's the third time, put a creature card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
Nice.
So I'm not sure what those mechanics are, but it seemed like if those were pretty recent, like things that happen a lot, like this seemed like a pretty broken card, and that you could get a creature back from the graveyard, but pretty consistently.
Yeah, that seems really good.
It's a 3 converted mana cost of 3, and it's a 3/3.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I feel like, again, just another card you could get a lot of value from. You said his name was Victor?
Yes, Victor Valgavoth Seneschal. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
Huh. Yeah, I can't find him, but he sounds broken.
Yes, if you want, I can.
Yes, send me a screenshot of that bad boy.
I got you.
Please and thank you. Okay, I found that scheme I was looking for. It's My Champion Stands Supreme.
Ooh.
Your commander has Ward 2. Whenever your commander attacks, put 2 1/1 counters on it. And then whenever your commander leaves the battlefield, abandon this scheme. So you'll lose it once your commander leaves the battlefield. But that's crazy. +2 every time you attack. Again, the scheme doesn't necessarily have the requirements to get it on the board, so I don't know what those are going to look like. But giving your commander Ward 2 and +2/+2 almost every turn, crazy.
Is the +2/+2 stack, or is it like a...
Yeah, because they're counters, it'll stack.
That is pretty crazy, not gonna lie.
So definitely looking forward to that one.
Nice.
Anyway, we probably won't do another episode on the Duskmourn spoilers as they come out, but I may bring up a couple cards here or there in the next few episodes before the set releases.
Yeah.
Moving us forward, though, you've been playing a new video game?
I have. Today's video game is Risk of Rain 2, a classic for many, a new groundbreaking thing for Josiah, the goofiest host.
Hell yeah.
It is. Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelike third-person shooter game that is either local, or it's co-op, single player, or, get this, split screen.
Let's go.
Crazy.
Let's go.
Absolutely insane. You don't know how ecstatic I was to see that this thing had a split screen on it.
Hell yeah. Have you and your roommate been playing?
No, that's a good idea, though.
Yeah. Get some good bonding in there.
Yeah, I know.
Hell yeah.
I need to bond with that guy soon.
Real.
Starting with praises, what I love about the game, its soundtrack. I think this is a very well-known thing that Risk of Rain 2 has an amazing soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
But actually hearing it and getting to experience, like, it is such a vibe. In college, you're dealing with the stresses of schoolwork and blah, blah, blah. And you just go sit down and just listen to the soundtrack while shooting monsters. Whew, it's mind healing. I'm telling you.
What's better, Celeste or Risk of Rain?
Oh.
Sorry, you've talked about both of them these last couple of weeks. I had to ask.
What a difficult question. I'm going to assume you're talking about soundtrack. Or are you talking about just game entire?
No. Specifically soundtrack.
Okay.
Which one's better, in your humble opinion?
Man, I have to say Risk of Rain because it appeals.
Okay.
It's more of like that very far off alien, not necessarily EDM. It's not like cyberpunk, gets you moving.
Yeah.
It's more of it feels like you're on an acid trip, if that makes sense. Like the music's very ethereal. I don't know, and it's so, like, Celeste is really good. There's a few songs from there I'd listen to in my car.
Yeah.
But I've just had the Risk of Rain soundtrack just on repeat in my car lately. So sadly, they're so close, but Risk of Rain is just a little bit better. There's just a little bit more energy behind some of it. And
Gotcha.
It's so enjoyable to listen to.
Gotcha. Sorry, you were talking about positives for the game?
No, you're good. The gameplay's really good. I love the aesthetic of the game is amazing. You're basically this... I don't know the lore of the game at all, but the premise is that you're this explorer, I guess, or something, that found this planet that wasn't charted on the star maps.
Okay.
And so now you got to jump on this. So now you're exploring it, basically, I guess. And it's a very simple premise. I don't think the strong suit of the game is its story, though it is interesting.
Yeah.
So you just go through each of these levels, which basically it's these grand maps where you're trying to find teleporters, and it's just really good. It's very simple. It's a really good roguelike. So gameplay is definitely there.
What's the enemy variety like?
Very, really good. At least, okay, I will say that the enemies are pretty reoccurring, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So maybe I've been playing the game for a few days, and I know most of the enemies that pop up now.
Yeah.
But still, there's a ton of enemy variety. Like, it's not constantly the same enemies over and over. The enemies are a little specific to maps sometimes, which can also be fun. But what kind of works out it getting tiring with the enemy variety is that the player variety, or like, it's not
the builds?
Yes, the builds. Sorry. You know, like how in Hades you can just go in with different weapons?
Yeah.
So this one, it's different characters with each character has their 4 unique traits. So like their 2 attacks and then 2 specials. And there's like 13 characters.
Hell yeah.
And also you get to unlock more loadout options through playing the game as certain characters.
Yeah.
Like for one, I had to stay in the air. I had to kill 15 people in the air as one character, then I got their second gun.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And so it does really well in keeping you motivated to play, and it doesn't get boring.
For sure.
Even though the enemy variety, like there's a lot of enemies, but you play through them a lot.
This may or may not make sense, but I'm pretty sure I have the wrong game in my mind. I've had a lot of people, especially like when I stream and stuff, tell me that I need to play Risk of Rain 2. When I imagine that game, I feel like the cover has a yellow chicken on it. Is that true?
A yellow chicken?
Or is there, or like, not a full chicken, a chick?
No.
Is there a reference to that in the game at all?
There's not.
Okay, I'm definitely thinking in the wrong game.
The cover is a blue man standing in front of a moon.
Hell yeah.
You should stream this game. Like, this is it's a perfect streaming game, honestly.
Hell yeah.
Especially,
hey, maybe you should stream this game.
Maybe we should stream this game.
Hell yeah.
Hell
I like
yeah.
where this is going.
I see where this train is rolling, and I'm not going to stop it.
Okay, so you mentioned that you wanted to talk about positives. Does that mean you have some negatives about the game?
So there's only a few negatives, which aren't even like super big negatives. One negative, right now the game's a little buggy.
Okay.
But that's because the DLC came out just last week.
Oh,
and
okay.
so that's going to get fixed.
Yeah. It's a canon event.
Yeah, it's got to happen on release, and so, but being entirely new to the game, I didn't know there's a DLC out, and so me and my friends were on the final boss.
Yeah.
And the game bugged.
Oh, that sucks.
And we were on his final stage. We had an hour and 20 minutes of gameplay.
Oh man.
So that was just really frustrating. But I know once those are fixed, it'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
And the only honestly, that's about it. I mean, the graphics, it's an old game, so the graphics aren't like these top tier thing, but it's still like a beautiful
Pretty
game.
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, it still looks pretty. It's just sometimes when you look at things a little bit closer, it's like, oh, that looks a little weird.
Yeah.
But that's not even a real negative.
Well,
barely any negatives.
So for our audience, what are you playing it on?
Xbox, but it is also on PC. Graphics might be better on PC.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know,
depending on your PC.
I think 90% the graphics are going to look a little bit better on your PC.
Did you buy it or you playing on Game Pass?
Buy it.
Nice. Okay.
Although
I know it was on Game Pass for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's not anymore.
Yes, sadly it is not. We got it one of my friends got it just yesterday. But right now the DLC is the same price as the actual game, or like you can get the actual game and the DLC. It's on a sale.
Okay, hell yeah.
So just putting that out there for anyone's like, oh, do I want to get Risk of Rain 2? Like, now would be the time. It's only like $24. Not too shabby. It's a very good quality game.
That's awesome. And I think my last question, not that this is a bad thing, like roguelikes that only have one path to follow are still good. but I definitely find myself preferring roguelikes that have multiple paths. So, for example, Hades 1, you're on pretty much the same journey every single run.
Right.
While in Hades 2, you get to pick either do you want to fight your way up to the surface or back down to Tartarus. Cult of the Lamb has 4 different forests that you can go into, and each one has different areas, different enemy types. Where does Risk of Rain fall in that?
So it has some map variants.
Okay.
The maps are randomized, I think, except for the last 2. There's a 5 stages per run. And the first 4, I think, are just randomized maps. But they are the same every single time. So pretty soon you're going to know where stuff is.
But going into it, you're not sure which one it's going to start you on?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, just to give you a little variety.
Yeah, but it's definitely, I would say that leans a lot more heavily towards Hades. And that it is, it's the exact same maps, even though there is map variety.
Mm-hmm.
So once you play them a few times, I've only been playing the game for a few days, and I already am pretty confident that I could traverse these maps fairly easily.
Hell yeah.
And so it definitely seems like a game, at least that you kind of play, but you play just mainly for the vibe, not because you're interested in exploring more. I honestly don't even, I don't feel a strong desire to beat the game. I'm not super interested in how it's going to end.
Yeah.
It's
you just enjoy playing it.
It's so in a good way, mind numbing, in a Minecraft type way where you're just relaxed while playing.
Hell yeah. Well, anything else before we move forward?
I don't think so. I highly recommend. Go buy it now. Right now.
Right now.
They're not paying me to say this. Go buy it.
But they should be paying us.
I will be waiting for my $20 shout out fee.
I don't know who made this game, but sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us, okay? Oh, the guy who made the soundtrack. I actually do want. Let me. I have him on Instagram. That guy's he's got some really good music.
Hell yeah.
I'll shout him out for free. 'Cause that's just who I am. Okay, never mind. It's going to take way too... I thought he was in my recently searched. He wasn't.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Whoever made the Risk of Rain 2 soundtrack, you're awesome. I love your music.
Well, moving us forward, just another video game. I've been playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Is that a new game?
It came out last year.
Okay.
And I didn't play it at launch because I grew up in the, late 90s, early 2000s, where the era of movie to video games adaptations were awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Last episode, we talked about The Way of Water. I really enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, I'll give Frontiers of Pandora a try, and it is so good. It's phenomenal. Okay. It's so good.
That's awesome.
It's a first-person open-world game, mostly first-person. When you're riding your mounts, it goes third-person, but it's just this fun little sandbox to go experience the Avatar world in, and I just adore it. There's a moment where you get your Ikran, and it is one of the coolest video game moments I've ever had, as you're get pushed off of the floating rocks that they have in Pandora, and you're free falling, and then your Ikran comes and swoops under you, and the classic Avatar music swells, and it's just so cool.
Hell yeah.
It's an Ubisoft game, so it's your typical Ubisoft open world. There's a ton of stuff for you to find throughout the world. Ton of stuff to do. There's a main story, side quests, the DLC. I think it's called the Skybreaker just came out. I'm not going to talk too much about the game, but it's phenomenal. And I'm not going to lie, the reason I'm bringing this up is I don't know if I get the Ubisoft hate. The last 3 Ubisoft games I played have been bangers.
Yeah. What games have Ubisoft made recently?
So the last 3 that I played were Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, obviously, Star Wars Outlaws, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
Now, just being honest, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is not a good Assassin's Creed game. And I 100% understand why Assassin's Creed fans did not love it. However, it is a phenomenal Viking game. Me get to be a Viking? Me get to siege English castles? Hell yeah.
Where do I sign up?
And then Star Wars Outlaws definitely has some issues that need to be worked out. But overall, same thing as Avatar the Frontiers of Pandora, Star Wars Outlaws is just this really cool open world sandbox to get to go play around in the Star Wars universe. And the references are so deep. Like, I heard somebody call me a Slimo at some point, which I think has only ever been referenced in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Wow.
I got to play Sabacc. I've got a speeder that I can ride around in. We're going to go deeper in on Star Wars Outlaws on the Star Wars podcast, Animal Squadron, if you want to go check it out. So, again, I won't talk about it much. Just, I don't know. I'm not getting the Ubisoft hate. I'm having a really fun time.
Hey, you have a fun time, okay? The
Thank
public doesn't need to agree with you for you to have a good time.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah, definitely go check out Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. It definitely the best movie to video game adaptation. It's canon to the universe. It, I think, might be the best looking video game I've ever played.
Wow.
Yeah, they went hard on the graphics. Like, I mean, you know Pandora and how it looks, and it feels like Pandora. It looks like Pandora.
Is this game available on everything?
I believe so. Well, probably not the Switch.
Oh.
If it is on the Switch, it probably looks like doo-doo garbage water.
Just don't play anything on the Switch if it's not from Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think that's a good rule to live by.
If it's available somewhere else, get it somewhere else. There are a couple examples. I think indie games would be the exception.
Oh, fair.
Specifically, I don't know why, but isometric dungeon crawlers they give me Switch vibes. I don't want to play an isometric dungeon crawler on my Xbox or my PC or my PlayStation. I want to play it on my Switch.
Yeah, I had Hades on my computer, my PC.
Yeah.
That was I did not enjoy it. And I think I hear more people talk about it. It may have just been it was just not, the gameplay was a little bit difficult for me. But maybe that's because I was on PC, honestly.
Yeah.
So I might give it another go on the Switch or something.
Hell yeah. I have a physical copy. You could definitely borrow it. Also, audience, I apologize. My cat is being very playful. If you hear random noises, it's probably her.
Azula is staying true to her character.
Real. She is biting me a lot right now.
Yeah.
I am in severe pain.
Azula.
And by severe pain, I mean like barely any. It's barely an inconvenience at all.
This pain hurts so bad, I barely even feel it.
Real. Kind of just pushing us forward to last couple things. Warbreaker, I mentioned it last time. I did finish it.
Ooh, what'd you think?
Loved it. Adored it. So good. So good.
What was your favorite thing?
Probably the Sanderlanche. It gotta be real.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just how everything played out was so good. Every character felt like they had a moment in the finale where, like, it felt like all the stories built up to them doing something really important in the finale. It wasn't just like one character saving the day. Like, it took, I want to say 5. There are about 5 main characters throughout the story, and they all play a super important role in the finale, and I loved that.
Yes, it was. I loved how character-oriented Warbreaker was, and that really got to shine in its finale, where each of their characters came to the height of their character arc. I agree. It was a very good way to end a story.
And I won't say what, because I don't want to spoil it, but I had a feeling on who Vasher really was, and I was right. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice.
Let's go.
Dude, calling something before it's actually revealed in a Sanderson book is just so satisfying.
Real.
It's like, I knew it all along.
Real. And then we're running out of time here, so we won't talk about this long, but you got to play your first ever game of Heroscape a couple days ago.
Indeed,
what did you think?
I did. I hated it because I didn't win. No, I'm just joking. It was actually so cool. Honestly, it was anything I've ever wanted from a board game, which is so surprising.
Yeah.
Elijah, Kylee, Jerry, I have a problem with playing board games, including Magic Science the Scattering, or Magic the Gathering,
Real.
however it goes. I don't know if it's like an attention thing, But Heroscape, I was locked in.
Mhm.
It was everything my 8-year-old self dreamed I would ever want in a board game. It was so cool. I think it was the dice rolling, man. The dice rolling sold it for me. The fact I could have only 2 dice and Elijah could have 13 or I could be like a robot archer with 2 attack and Elijah's Thanos with 13 dice. And then I kill him.
And then you win.
And
yeah.
then, I mean, what else could a man want?
Honestly, I think we need to just get you into wargaming in general.
Yeah.
Hell
Honestly,
yeah.
I would be a good general because I take the risks.
Hell yeah.
And it paid off for some reason.
Joey lost because he fought everybody and pretty much wiped out everyone else's army, but wiped himself out in the process. It was insane, the kills you had.
I don't know. I was going crazy. I just got too spaced out. But it was, like, genuinely, when I think of a perfect board game, like, you have really good ones, like Terraforming Mars. There are a ton. For some reason, my mind's going blank. But, like, this one just felt the most enjoyable. And, like, I actually was paid attention and was interested the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Which, I got to say, probably it's my favorite board game as of right now.
Hell yeah. That's exciting to hear. Well, that's everything I wanted to bring up. Do you have anything else you wanted to mention before we end it?
I think that's it. Make sure to drink water, audience.
Hydrate or dihydrate?
Mm-hmm. Hydrate or crydrate.
Real.
Real.
Well, for the Nerds Only podcast, this has been Mother Goose.
This has been Cosmar.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Sleep well.